Greetings, magical souls. If you're new here, I'm Em. Have you ever watched your cat suddenly stop, stare at absolutely nothing, walk incredibly slowly towards a shopping bag or the corner of the room or even a spider web, and thought, what on earth are you doing? Well, I actually asked, and I was not expecting the answer that I got. Now, many of you know that I communicate with animals. So one day I decided to ask my own cat, Pixie, about something that she had been doing for years. So every now and again, she'd walk through the house and then suddenly stop. She'd creep towards something as though she'd never, ever seen it before. And sometimes it was a bag, sometimes it was a chair, sometimes it was a piece of furniture, and sometimes it was absolutely nothing that I could see. And she looked, well, sometimes completely ridiculous and very, very funny. Almost like she wasn't quite sure whether to run away or to investigate. And so naturally, I assumed that she was maybe just being a cat. But I know what you're thinking. And yes, I also thought that perhaps she really had just finally lost the plot. But it turns out apparently that I'm the one that had no idea of what was actually going on. So now I have the session in front of me, and I'm just going to refer to my notes here. So during our communication session, I asked her, Pixie, what is it that you are doing when you're doing all these things that I've just described? But her answer caught me completely off guard. She said, I'm not frightened. I'm tuning into energy. And then she explained that when she approaches these things, she's sensing them, feeling them, working out what they are. And she said, sometimes they're unfamiliar. Sometimes they're visitors. Sometimes they're energies that have come into the home with you after you've been out into the world. Sometimes there are things that need to be transmuted. Now, at this point, I was kind of having to pause because this had never occurred to me. And then she actually added something that made me burst out laughing. She said, you have no idea how busy this house is. And so when I asked her what she meant by that, because apparently there aren't just 4 humans and 2 cats living in my house. There are dragons, fairies, nature beings, visiting animals, and all of their teams. So after all of this, she said, and the spiders, surely you realize that spiders have their own teams too. I mean, I was literally speechless during this part of the session. I mean, it had such long pauses where I was just kind of going like, wow, because I was really checking in with myself to go, am I making this up? But it was like, this is something that I'd never even contemplated in my sort of human mind. Because anyway, so it had never occurred to me. Now, the funny thing was that I had been very, very intentionally leaving lots of daddy long legs in our home when we were having this communication session. I had read somewhere that they sometimes keep other animals, other spiders out, and I don't mind the daddy long legs. They're quite cute, and I'm also trying to get over my phobia of spiders and the fear of them. So I thought, well, let me start with daddy long legs and jumping spiders because I actually quite like those, and then I can move on to the ones that really, really, really scare me. So for weeks, I had been saying to everybody, please don't dust the corners of the house. Like, can you try and just dust around them? I want them to stay in there. They're helping us. They're catching the mosquitoes. They're doing all these things. You know, they're our friends. I need to start somewhere. I need to start like they're my training wheels in terms of fear of spiders type thing. So up until that point, every time we dusted, you know, people would go into the corners and just kind of, you know, they'd have to scurry along and go somewhere else. But I started very intentionally trying to just go around their webs and leave their webs in the corner of the room, even though they get a little bit messy and whatever. But ironically, what actually happened is, I mean, at the time that I'm making this video, is that I don't actually know how long they live. I need to look that up. But the interesting thing is that I have no cobwebs or anything in the corner of my homes, and they've all seemed to move on. So now I can actually go around and clean, but I didn't have to disturb them while they were there, which is really, really nice. But anyway, back to the story. I had never even thought about spiders having their own team, and why wouldn't they? Because they're souls like all of us. Okay. When all this started, I kept like walking past and going, okay, wow, she's staring at the recycling again. But then as we were going further and further and further into the session, she said something that made me pause again. And she said, I'm not judging these energies. I'm not deciding that they're good or bad. I'm simply curious. She wants to know, who are you? Why are you here? Do you need to stay? Or is it my job to help you move on? And I thought, wow, what if that's the lesson? I mean, how often do we immediately judge something that we've never actually taken the time to understand? And Pixie doesn't do that. She approaches everything with this curiosity and with these questions. And and so I also said to her, following on from this, I mean, as I'm sitting here doing the session, my mind is just blown. I mean, this is a beautiful little being that lives with me in my own home. And so then I said to her, now, Pixie, why do you, because she does this thing at night where I'll be busy on my phone mostly, occasionally reading a book, but that's become more, the books have become more common since I got off a lot of social media and stuff. But when she was doing this, I was largely on my phone and I was scrolling. And what will happen is she'll come and sit down in front of me and she'd stare at me. Or she'd jump up and bump my phone out of my hand, or she'd come and sit out on my lap so that I couldn't keep holding my phone here, like had to move it, and then it would be uncomfortable, and then I'd put it down. And so I was curious as to what she was doing, because initially I thought, well, is she hungry? And then I check her bowl and, it would be nothing like that. And there are some nights where Pixie calls me to bed. So if she's feeling particularly cold or she wants to settle down for the night, she'll nag and nag and nag. And then I'll go and get into bed and she'll come and snuggle next to me while I meditate or listen to a video or listen to some music as I wind down for the evening. So I wasn't sure whether it was part and parcel of that as well, but it just felt like there was something more. And then she explained that when I endlessly scroll through social media, she'd stare at me, she'd walk across me, she'd demand my attention because she could feel what that constant stream of information was doing to my energy. And then she pointed out, what happens when you start reading a book and start spending time doing something more present, like maybe even I'm drawing on the iPad or something like that, that she wouldn't interrupt me quite as much as when I was on my phone. And that was something that I'd not even noticed at that point, but she had. And so she didn't want food. She didn't want cuddles. She didn't want me to come to bed. She was actually conducting an intervention. This conversation has stayed with me ever since. Because, I mean, I don't expect everyone listening to believe that cats are energetic housekeepers. I mean, no, everybody needs to come to their own conclusions. But that's not really the point of this video. The point that I'm trying to make here is whether you see this as something, whether you see it through a spiritual lens, a symbolic lens, or simply as a beautiful way of looking at the world. What if our animals are paying attention to the things that we simply overlook? What if they're inviting us to become more curious about life within ourselves, more present, more aware? So instead of rushing to conclusions, perhaps we could try and be curious. So now these days, whenever I see Pixie slowly stalking a cardboard box, I don't assume she's being weird anymore. I now actually just quietly wonder, well, who's visiting now? Now, before I go, because there's more, Pixie is not a normal cat. Since talking to Pixie a few weeks ago, she has reminded me that despite apparently managing the energetic well-being of our household, that she is still fundamentally a cat. So last Sunday, I get up, Jake wakes me, it's about 6 o'clock in the morning, and I am getting their food ready. And every now and again, Pixie will nag me, and then I've got to like call Jake and vice versa. Now, Pixie is not around, and I call her and I call her and I call her quietly. I'm almost like whisper calling her because it's 6 o'clock in the morning. Because if I put both food bowls down, Jake is a monster, particularly in winter, and he just plows through both bowls of food. And then if I put it on the counter, he goes up there as well. I don't want to put it in the fridge because they don't like it. They like it at room temperature. So anyway, so I'm calling and I'm calling and I'm calling. And then I think I hear her. And I think I hear her coming up the stairs. And so I wait and I'm standing there like this with both bowls of food in my pajamas. And she doesn't come up the stairs. And so I pause and I pause again. And then I think I hear her again. Pixie has the softest, cutest little meow. It's almost like a little squeak. She's not a very vocal cat. So anyway, so I then hear this noise again and I go, oh, she's coming up the stairs. So I turn to put the food bowls down again and I just wait. No Pixie. And now I am stumped. I'm going, what is happening? So I'm just about to turn back and actually just keep both bowls, maybe go back to bed, see if she comes in the next 5 minutes or so. And something stops me and I hear her again now. And now it's like a constant, like this little beep, 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 because that's almost what it sounds like she's doing. She doesn't meow. She's got these little beeps that she makes. And all of a sudden I'm going, is she stuck in the neighbor's yard? Is she stuck in a room? Is she trapped under the house? Like, what the hell? Like, does she need my help? Is she injured? Is she? So now all of these things are going through my head, but it's like, I can't go back to bed. So anyway, so I reached the conclusion that now I've got to open the door. Now, bear in mind, everybody else in my household is still fast asleep. It's still dark outside. It's colder than a witch's tit outside. I mean, if I tell you it was 4 degrees, I'm not kidding you. It was so cold. Now I've got to go and I've got to go and find some pajama pants or something because I've now reached the conclusion that I've got to go outside. So I open the doors and I'm standing there and I'm listening and I can hear her calling and calling and calling. And our house is very weird. The sound tends to travel and bounce off, and you sometimes it takes a while for you to pinpoint where sounds are actually coming from. They sound like they're coming from the left when they're actually coming from the right or the front and the back, and it's just all over the show. Our property's got really, really strange acoustics. So I'm looking and I think it's coming from the neighbor's yard. And then I go, no, it's not coming from the neighbor's yard. And then all of a sudden, Jake jumps onto the wall and he's looking this way behind me. And so I turn around and there is Pixie on the bloody roof. The one place I didn't expect her to be. She's on the roof and she is sitting and I can just see her head popped over like the apex of the roof. And I'm going, okay, Pixie, well, you can come down because now she can come down to the wall where Jake is sitting because the roof comes off. There's a little bit of a wall and then she can jump down into the courtyard. And so I managed to coax her down. She comes down. She's still high up. And I moved Jake off the wall and I pat the wall where he's just been sitting and I'm trying to communicate with her, like just jump on onto here and whatever. And I can see she's actually quivering, like she is beyond scared. And so I go, okay, right, okay, plan B. So I go and I get the small ladder that we have here in the garage. but it's only one of those little like 2-step ladders that you can use like just to clean the house and stuff. I go put it outside and I reach up and she's still sort of just up there, but I can't get proper purchase. And I'm calling her to come to me and I'm going, just come, if you can just step over, I can grab you. But clearly my animal communication apparatus is failing spectacularly in the moment because Pixie is just not listening to anything that I'm trying to communicate to her. And also, animals have minds of their own, but it's just like, I'm so close, but I'm so far. It's very frustrating. So now I go, okay, so this is not going to work. And it's evident I try pat the wall again while I'm on the ladder. I think if I'm closer to her, I go, come Pickle, I'm right here. Pickle's her nickname because she's really quite pickled in the brain sometimes. Anyway, and I go, Pixie, I'm right here. Like, just come, I can catch you. You're not going to fall. No, not happening. She's sitting there and she's peering over at me, over at the gutter. And she's still like just meowing and meowing and meowing like, please help me, please help me, please help me. So now I've got to go to the shed. I've got to go to the shed and I've got to get out our big ladder. And bear in mind, I'm trying to do all of this really quietly. The big ladder is one of those ones that kind of folds up. And as you open up the legs, you've got to keep clicking these little locks, and then it locks in various positions and it makes a hell of a racket. So I've got to bring that into the house and into the garage and do it quietly because I'm worried now I'm going to wake up the neighbors, especially with, all the acoustics that happen. They're going to be able to hear everything. And I mean, the whole time this is unfolding, it's just like Jake is following me into the shed. He's following me around. He's yelling at me. I mean, all he wants is his food. And it's like he's going, what the hell are we doing here? Like, just leave her up there. Give me my food already type thing. Anyway, it was like a bit of a circus. Eventually, I get the ladder unfolded. I put it into its A like frame position. I take it outside. I climb up 4 steps, and now Pixie is like here in front of me, and I can grab her. And I say, and now she's moved away. And every time a car comes past, she's hiding and she's backing further away from me. So I calm myself down. I go, Pixie, come here. I can't get any closer because there's a wall in the way. I can't move the ladder any closer to her. But I climb up 1 more step and I'm here, and I go, Pixie, I'm right here. And I start stroking her and whatever. And I say, I'm here. But you've got to come to me. And anyway, so she edges forward and whatever, and then I can grab her. And I think, okay, well, everything's going to go fine now. So I just try to just pick her up. Instead of picking her up often I'll grab cats by the scruff of their neck if I'm somewhere, because it kind of makes them go limp. But I think, okay, now I can just grab Pixie around her middle. And oh my God, she just suddenly decides that she is going to grab onto the gutter with all of her claws, and she becomes like, it's like she's cemented to the gutter. So I am busy trying to now lift her, and she is cemented to the gutter. And I'm again going, Pixie, please let go. Pixie, please let go. Again, the animal communication apparatus is failing spectacularly. And it's like, I know that if I let her go now, she's going to run back the other way of the roof. And I want to get inside. It is freezing cold. I got Jake yelling in one ear. She's meowing in the other. I'm actually done with this adventure now. I just want to go back to bed. And so anyway, so I managed to just actually get her to somehow let go. I've almost got to hang on to her and pull one paw off, and then try and lift her a bit, and then pull another or paw off. And then as I go to move the back ones, the front ones cling round again and whatever. But in the meantime, I am getting absolutely shredded because she's now just in this violent panic and what have you. Anyway, needless to say, I go, Pixie, I'm going to pull you. I'm going to pull you. Like, now the time for gentle is gone. So I managed to actually get her off. I think I'm going to now just put her under my arm. She has other ideas. She lands on my head, on my shoulders, wheel spins off my head, and then runs onto the wall where I was trying to get her to go in the first place. But thank goodness she is down. So she jumps down off the wall. I grab the ladder. I open the door. They both follow me in. I put the ladder down. And then I get the food, and Jake now barrels past me because by now he's not pleased. His breakfast is somewhat, 45, 50-minute late. And anyway, just like that, another very ordinary Sunday begins. And this is just why I adore the animals, because they can be carrying ancient consciousness. They can be working with Gaia. They can be opening portals. They can be teaching humans about unconditional love and all sorts of cosmic mysteries. And they still get stuck on the roof. Because apparently, cosmic software seems to be no match for cat software. So thank you so much for listening. I hope that you enjoyed the insights into a cat's world and what they might be doing. And wherever you are, wishing you a magical day further.